All right, my lovelies, let us move into this When Women Pray, week 5. Week 5. Holy cannoli. We are at week 5. I wanted to continue. I want to go deeper. So I'll check in with you all about that. But let's breathe in. Let's breathe in. So let's enter this space and set the field, breathing in and out. Breath in once, breath out, breath in, breath out. Breathing in and holding that prayer. Holding that prayer. How wonderful that that came through. Holding that breath and exhaling. Arriving into this space. Heart open. Mind open. Soul present. What are you grateful for in this moment? Simply allow that to rise up in your awareness as I set the tone with a prayer. Grateful in this moment for this beautiful container. Grateful in this moment for each and every woman who said yes to being here. Grateful for the power of prayer, this language of the heart, soul. Grateful for this presence that is never an absence, that is living itself as my life and the women in this When Women Pray circle. Recognizing that this presence is everywhere simultaneously, and that I am one with this presence, and each and every woman is one with this presence. And in this unified field of oneness, I bless our time together, declaring that this time together is enlightening, uplifting, transforming with ease and grace, and liberating, celebrating the life divine through and as each and every woman, knowing that this and more unfolds even after this time together comes to a close. I am filled with thanksgiving, and I simply allow this word to be. It is done, it is so, and I say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe Aho, and so it is. Welcome in. So today we are going to move into the step or the stage of thanksgiving in the affirmative prayer, in the embodied prayer, because last week we did a deep dive into the realization, the embodiment. And I got your emails. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. And I just want to go around the room and ask, how are you? How are you feeling? What are you grateful for? You are able to unmute, so just unmute and let me hear. You can go, Danielle.
Oh, what am I grateful for?
You know what? Will you close your camera, Danielle? Can you hear me? You're choppy. Can you turn there you go. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you have to turn your
Yeah.
picture off.
Yeah.
Turn off your video. Turn off your camera. Danielle,
I know.
turn off your camera, your video. There you go. Okay. Go for it. Can you speak without being
I'm
on camera?
sorry.
There you go. You're good.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm on my phone and I'm technically challenged because of the slow connection. Anyway, the question was, where am I grateful?
Mhm.
Well, there's definitely gratitude for, as you said at the beginning of the class, for being in this container and not only learning, but playing with this prayer, in embodying it, and this shift from, admittedly, what I've been taught, this begging prayer, as opposed to this, to use your word that I better understand, affirmative prayer. So there's
Yeah.
lots of gratitude in that respect, because the shift is transformational, I would say. There's an embodiment that comes with knowledge,
Mhm.
knowing that this is so. And so it's a whole different ballgame. And so I'm really, really grateful for that. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so grateful you're having this experience. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Kathleen?
Well, I would speak similar things. I mean, I so grateful to have the container of a group and the multiple groups, as it turns
Yeah.
out this week. Really, right? Okay, which group am I in now? Um, um, and ongoingly, yeah, I think that's probably a wonderful idea. Um, what was just kind of fleeting through my head was, gratitude for my own miracle. I don't feel like from my own miracle path here, it's been very challenging because my emotional, but I really realized a little bit from what we were saying in the last hour is that you really, we have to keep bringing ourselves back into higher vibration when our vibration goes down. And we have to keep nurturing that in various ways. And yeah, so Danielle doesn't aware of this, but I can say that I can speak into the group. I mean, I'm going to do this prayer session with Wendy at the end of this, really, right? And today is the day that I need to go and see the ENT surgeon about my tongue. And I've been I was awake at 5 o'clock, right? And I'm just saying, your faith has made you well. Your faith has made you well. And I was watching a webinar last night about all things cancer and deconstructing all that stuff. I mean, I didn't officially have cancer, but I was one step down from that. And if he sees anything white in there, he's basically he will want to take it out. That's his path, really, right? So that's what's very present for me. And I thought I was going to have to almost miss this class because that appointment was at 10:30 and I was going to have to whatever. And it turns out that it's at 11:30. So, it just gives me time to be here, to do some prayer work with you. And I'm certainly very, very grateful for that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks,
Well,
Dan.
I'm really grateful for you and for everyone who's in this course, whether they're, present or listening to the recording. And I'm grateful to have this experience because it deepens by us being together. There's an energetic field that is established by these communities that come together. And affirmative prayer is just so powerful, just so powerful. So thank you for sharing that, both of you. And so the realization stage that I was speaking about, and that hopefully you continue to anchor last week, it is also something that leads to like a completion, but it's not a completion by like a throwaway. It's not like, oh, I'm just Thanksgiving in the affirmative prayer tradition is giving thanks before evidence shows up, which is similarly to faith, right? evidence in that which is unseen. So it's not hope, it's not wishing. It's, as Ernest Holmes calls it, a spiritual mind treatment. And for each and every person who is praying, it is the realization that the realization stage leads into this yes. So then we can give thanks for it. So we start with gratitude, right? We start because we are anchoring, we are setting the tone, we are creating that field through the vibration of gratitude. Because oftentimes when people go into praying, they're coming from a place of lack. So when we move into prayer through the portal of gratitude, we're doing the prayer to know this first in our own consciousness. The prayers that we speak, we know for ourselves, because when we're praying, when somebody perhaps sits in front of you and is seeking prayer, if you don't know the spiritual principles, and if you are not filled with conviction that the prayer works, how can you possibly hold healing for another person, hold abundance for another person, hold fulfillment for another person? You must first know this in your consciousness, which is why last week I was saying that unification, that recognition, unification, and realization, but mostly unification and realization are like the anchors. You could think of it as a stool or a chair, and if one of the legs are missing, it doesn't hold. It can't hold anything. So vibrationally, yes, grateful. I'm grateful. Grateful for this moment. Grateful for all that is. Grateful for my health and vitality. I recognize, recognize the cognition, the re-knowing. I love to use the word re-mind, because the mind that is caught by all of the sundry of things in the outer world can get caught by lack and limitation, defend it, argue for it, and have more lack and limitation. But when we stand in gratitude, there's something that shifts vibrationally. So we can move into the recognition of this divine presence in everything, as everything, through everything. The one power, right? I know that in a couple of the courses I was asked about evil and good. And I was sharing the one power. There can only be one power, and this power is good, or there would be two powers, two gods. That does not exist. And then the unification. God needs each and all of us to express through. So the same living, loving intelligence that births and sustains galaxies is encoded in our being. So we declare that unification. We are moving through gratitude. We recognize, we unify. If I am one with this presence, then the creative mind is my mind too. If health, wholeness, and vitality, wholeness is a quality of the divine, then wholeness is mine. So we get to establish that within our consciousness, and our consciousness, our vibratory frequency increases as we go through this movement in consciousness. We're not praying to something outside of us. We're activating the knowing of our oneness within us. And from that place, we speak the word. And when we move to realization, we are in the embodiment. We have a visceral shift. There's a knowing. We move into that place within ourselves where we know. We're not hoping, we're not wishing, we're not praying, we're not bargaining. We're standing, we're resolute. So when we reach Thanksgiving, we are standing vibrationally in that place of giving thanks for that which has been spoken is made manifest. It is done. That's why the words, it is done, it is so, and so it is. Well, that's next week. But that's exactly why we stand in this place of thanksgiving. We're anchoring it in our consciousness. Right? So yesterday, as I was teaching the Magdalene Miracle Walk, what I heard in my mind was, knock and it shall be answered, ask and it shall be given. So this affirmative prayer is praying, believing that it is given. Knock and the door shall be opened. Ask and it is given, not it will be. So even though the word ask is in there, we're speaking the word in an earnest, sincere place of conviction, of knowing, because we've had this experience through moving through the different steps. We feel the difference. We feel that it is done. So we can say, my heart is so full of thanks. I give thanks for this word spoken. My heart is so full of thanksgiving. I give thanks. And oftentimes in the different ways that people have been taught to pray, there's not a thanksgiving. Maybe, but to really give thanks, knowing it is done. And again, there's no judgment. Wherever people come from in their prayer life and their prayer work, I believe that with a sincere and earnest inquiry, the divine, it hears all. God knows your heart. It's not outside of you, so it's not making anyone wrong ever for the way they pray, because there might be moments, there might be a situation that you're moving through and you fall to your knees, like Rumi says, when the world brings you to your knees, or I like to add, when world events, when conditions, circumstances bring you to your knees, you're in a perfect position to pray. And why is it, do you think, that people were conditioned to pray on their knees? Anybody have an idea? Well, my perspective is that it was a sign of surrender. It was a sign of receptivity, not a sign of weakness. So sometimes you might fall to your knees and say, lead me, guide me, show me. I love to say, reveal ye me through my heart. Reveal ye through my heart. Love them through me, because right now I'm not loving them. So it's this, but I'm coming from a consciousness of knowing God is all there is. Yes, Kathleen.
Trying to think what it's in the Christmas thing we sing, right? But it's like fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. And it's reverence, really, right? It's reverence and gratitude is what you're saying. So yeah, knees seems appropriate, right? Surrender. I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, for me, it's not supplication.
Yeah.
It's inviting in the remembrance. But in no way do I say that you have to do this prayer on your knees. I'm just suggesting that nobody judge themselves if they're in a moment and they find themselves on their knees. But to remember that it's not that one is praying to a God outside of them. It's praying to remember this divine presence is right at the center of my being, of your being, of their being. And I think that's the little twist. Because clearly, we do not make the water tables go, and we do not make the sunrise or the sunshine, but we clearly are imbued with the divine at the center of our being. That is why Yeshua said, don't ye know ye are gods? Whom shall ye serve this day? The divine, which means the divine inside of you, or the human conditions? So in every situation, in every moment, there is that invitation to turn toward, just like we were talking about, and when in the Magdalene Miracle Walk, to turn toward the divine or turn away. Where is your attention? Focusing on what was or what is? So my invitation to you is to take your journals out. And I know that Danielle might not be able to do this in the moment. And Kathleen, if you can mute yourself, please. Thank you. And I'm going to give you a prompt, and you'll have some time to write on this. And I'll put it in the chat. Thank you for, and then the thing you've been praying for, which is already mine. And write at least 5 lines after that. fill it in with, I give thanks. I give thanks that blank, blank, blank is now mine. And you can refer to the qualities. You can refer to the healing of a situation. But just write take as much time, can give you like 5 minutes or more to just write behind that line. And it's in the chat. I give thanks for the thing you've been praying for. another minute. Okay. So, would anyone like to share what you wrote?
I'm not going to share everything because you know really what I was writing about, but I think ultimately it comes down to being uplifted in body, mind, and spirit, really, right? And that I'm healthy in all ways, that my consciousness is being uplifted, and that I am being uplifted into a new octave of being.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, thank you, Danielle. That's gorgeous. I love that. Okay. So, did you feel a shift inside of yourself that moved from I hope to thank you, it's done? It is so.
Yes. And I think it helps to really like even in your question, perfect relation, which is the already mine. Like it's already mine. I think that takes a bit of reminding.
Okay, great. So, thank you for that. Danielle, did you want to share?
Excuse me, I can be brief.
Okay.
Um, there there's really something about, I've had my prayer, but there's been like steps to the prayer, and the ultimate step, I guess, is about um falling into love, if that makes sense to summarize
Mm,
it. And I realize that that's actually happening. And
yay.
I need to take that in rather than question it, if you see what I mean. And so there's gratitude for that, and there is further gratitude for some of the how to. There's an embedded receptivity and there's a tuning into it. And so I'm grateful for learning for attuning to a large, more so. And for I've mentioned this to Kathleen the other day, and I heard it from others. The relentless kindness
Mm,
that underscores all of this. Gratitude for that. And I can't say that I had thought about the Thanksgiving. So thank you for that reminder.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And another, thank you for all of that. And another like fine print tweaking of moving into Thanksgiving is because you've prepared your consciousness through gratitude, recognition, unification, and realization, oftentimes one moves into the Thanksgiving stage with knowing that this is so, because that has been the progress, that's been the journey that you've been on from gratitude to recognition to unification to realization because of the embodiment. So knowing that this is so, I give thanks for the healing that is happening now. Clear?
Thank you.
Right? So I want us to do an embodiment. Now you've heard me talk about the Hesychast prayer, and I demonstrated it in alignment with this particular process. And yet next week I'll be able to do the whole thing because we'll be going into release. But in the Hesychast prayer, and it's an ancient practice from that Christian mystics called hesychasm. And it's about stillness, contemplation. And, you know, it's so interesting how all of the ancient traditions overlap each other, mirror each other. So in the Hesychast prayer, they would say a phrase over and over and over again. So in Eastern traditions, you say a mantra over and over and over again, right? So in this one, we don't say it over and over again because in an affirmative prayer, we're not saying it over and over again, but we are declaring the truth that we know to be true. So I like to bring in this technique, and instead of the traditional Jesus prayer, we're going to breathe into the Thanksgiving. So remember, you're coming into Thanksgiving from all that you've set up before, knowing this to be true. So you can place your hands on your heart, you can put your hands on your lap, and you are literally bringing your awareness to your heart center. And I'm going to invite you to compress what the Thanksgiving prayer is into like one inhale and one exhale. Like, for example, knowing that wholeness is the nature of this divine presence. So you're breathing in, knowing that wholeness is the nature of the divine, exhaling, wholeness is mine. Knowing that love is the divine nature, love is the true essence of God, divine. I am one with this. I am love. It is already mine. I give thanks, it's already mine. Is that helpful? Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can do it together. It might make more sense. It might land more.
That's called chamber of prayer. When each
Okay.
person does their own prayer. So sure. So we can shorten it to you can shorten it to I give thanks. Breathing in, I give thanks. Love is already mine. Or you can say, I give thanks, breathing in. Love reveals through all I do. You can breathe in, I give thanks. Healing reveals itself through my tongue, my life, my heart. And you can say, I give thanks for the best dentist ever. It is done. So you can weave in, I give thanks, breathing in. I give thanks. Peace is mine. Exhale. I give thanks. Harmony is mine. So you're sitting in this field, and I said it out loud, and you both heard it, and we can say it together. Whatever it is that is yours, that's the example. I give thanks. Health and wholeness is mine. I give thanks. Love is mine. Or my true nature, really. It's not mine. You don't own love, but you, and wholeness reveals itself through you. So you have this invitation with thanksgiving. I give thanks. Joy reveals through my life. And you can repeat this to yourself. I give thanks. You can say it quietly, softly inside of your heart. And allow, even though you're saying it silently in your head, allow the words to get softer and softer, moving from the lips to the heart. And then I invite all of us to come back and verbally out loud at normal volume to come together and say, and so it is. So I incorporated affirmative prayer into this practice, the Hesse cast. It's the lineage. Traditional affirmative prayer does not repeat over and over again. I simply wanted you to embody, to feel an embodiment of this prayer, because you've been working through from gratitude to thanksgiving. My intention was for you to experience an embodiment. I would love to hear how that was for you.
It's really beautiful. It evolved. And eventually I just kind of heard myself saying, I am held in the embrace of the divine.
Yes, it is so true. And so it is.
Mhm. And so it is.
Danielle?
Um,
Can you turn your video
yeah,
off, please?
always repeat.
Danielle, can you turn it? Thank you. Okay.
I yes, it's because I wanted to signal that I was there for so it is. It turned into a somewhat of a gratitude practice as opposed to a repetition. For many things that I am grateful, and there it's just, as Kathleen said, beautiful, something that can easily be carried anywhere, practiced anywhere.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Wonderful. So this week, your growth work is to create your prayer from gratitude to thanksgiving. And it does not need to be perfect. Although I already received one prayer that's so beautiful. It is really about your practicing, your willingness to just be the vessel. And that's it. Right? We come into this practice confident and humble. We speak a word with conviction. And how does that conviction grow? By us having an inner realization. So we start with gratitude. We establish that platform of gratitude, that frequency of gratitude that allows us to recognize, to recognize, to have that knowing. You could call it cognition, you can call it knowing of this divine presence that we are each one with, we unify. And then we move into the realization, the declaration of that condition with the purpose that we would like to experience. And then knowing that it is so because we've had a shift within us, we express our thanksgiving even when we haven't yet seen the demonstration. We know it is there. So we give thanks for that, and then we release and let go. So I invite you to practice that. And I will close us out with a spoken
Can
word.
I ask a question actually?
Okay, sure.
Um, I have like a question mark. And maybe you'll be addressing this next week about the release. Like we
Yeah,
have
that's
this
next
prayer.
week.
Okay,
It's
so
next
is it
week.
about not being attached to the outcome as well?
What do you think?
Probably so. I mean, I can ask, declare, give thanks, and I am guessing letting go because there is a power greater than I am.
I invite you to sit with that. I'm not being mysterious. I just want you to have an inner experience of what you're talking about. And then we'll definitely go into that more next week.
Okay. And
Thank
there
you.
was another question, and that was about prayer per se. Is it about declaring co-creation in a
Prayer
way?
in
Like
general?
why do we even, I mean, we pray because we wish for things. This I understand. But in an all-knowing universe, I guess it's because we're co-creating with God. Like, how does prayer actually I don't know what the word is. Is it work? Is it, how does it come into play? Is it about falling into our godhood as well? Do you understand my question more or less?
I
And is,
do. I do. And I also think that that is a very personal experience. And I would again invite you to sit with that,
okay,
because prayer is a dialogue with the divine.
okay, okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I bless you as you return to the activities of your day, prayed up, elevated, remembering your true nature is wholeness and beauty and wonder and awe and magnificence continues to just magnetize itself to you, through you, and as you. All good, all God, all love. And so it is. Such great questions, such great inquiry. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will see you next week. Bye for now.